accidentally turn Facebook off. There we go. And they stay there, and they stay there. Good morning. Hey, y'all. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hey, y'all. I was listening to this song the other day. This song. Y'all remember this song? This song. Let me get to the hook again. Y'all remember this song? Right? Good morning. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, y'all. I was watching the Soul Train Awards the other day with my friend. She wrote on it. Actually, a couple of my friends wrote on it, and they made history. They were the first ever all-female black writer teams that wrote on the Soul Train Awards. Anyway, and so T-Pain was being honored, and when this song came on, I said, that's an affirmation. Listen, that's an affirmation. That all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Listen, my hands go up and they stay there, right? All I do is win, win, win. I need y'all, as y'all agree your cousins and coming in this morning, I need y'all to type that in. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm affirming. At this last little run we got for the rest of the year, I'm affirming that all I do is win. No matter what. No matter what it look like out there, right? In here, I'm winning. Period. No matter what it look like out here. I don't care. All the king's horses and all the king's men could have cracked Humpty Dumpty. But period, listen, all I do is win no matter what. I need y'all to type that in. Go ahead and type that in and affirm that and say it out loud. Period. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, TikTok. How y'all feeling? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Period. All I do is win no matter what. I don't care what the doctor said. I don't care what somebody said to me. I don't care what they did and I didn't like it. I don't care what I got to face. I don't care what I'm thinking about, what I'm dealing with, period, because the end of the scenario is I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. And I'll go even a step further. I'll get real confident. I'm not just going to win. I've already won. The victory is mine. I've already won. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning. Look, I've already won. Hey, man. You see what I'm saying? Come on, let's do this morning song for y'all. Let's do it. My friend said yesterday, she said, why do you think you can't sing? I said, oh, no, baby. Here's the thing. I can sing. But them kids say I can't. And so, I'll deliver. I'll say what them kids say. But that ain't my truth. And that's what we do, y'all. We'll repeat something we didn't heard. And look at me, repeating something I didn't heard. Telling some I can't sing. But the truth of the matter is, I'm confident. I can't. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the song? Y'all ready? Hello, 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 and how are you? Mighty fine, mighty fine, mighty fine, and you are too. Hello, 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 and how are you? Mighty fine, mighty fine, mighty fine, and you are too. Cause period. Look, I want to say that Michael Jordan meme so bad. You are funny. You're funny. Y'all, I was taking my kids to school this morning. And we were listening to this sermon, and the pastor was talking about imposter syndrome, right? And they say, it's that feeling where your kids, like you don't want them to know that you don't know what you're doing and you just winging it. You just playing it by ear, right? It's one of those kind of feelings, right? And I laughed, and my kids go, we know you just winging it. Because every time you turn around, every time we ask you something changes. So we know you just winging it. I said, well, listen, I don't make an excuse for it, right? I honestly don't make an excuse for winging it. Even though I have a 22-year-old, I don't make an excuse and try to make it seem like I know what I'm doing. Because each one of my children are different. Danny said, but that's not fair. Danny said it's not fair. She said, Mama, you have to have a baseline rule, right? Come on. I'm going somewhere with this. You got to have a baseline rule. I said, what I do? Respect each other, love each other, respect me, and be obedient, right? Don't disrespect yourself. That's my baseline rule. She said, but Mama, that ain't fair. She said, because, for instance, I asked if I can get a double ear piercing when I turned 13, and you said, yeah, but then when I turned 13, you changed the rules. I said, well, Danny, it's like this. I said, I have 4 of you guys, right? And all 4 of you are different. I raise you and I love you based on what's best for you. For instance, I know your love language ain't hugs and kisses, right? You're not going to receive it that way. But Rusty will, Dana will, right? I know that your love language is acts of service, right? Words of affirmation. I said, so when I'm parenting you, I can't have just a baseline rule where at age 13 you can get a second piercing, because here's the thing. The level of maturity is different. The level of responsibility is different. The level of understanding is different. And so if I say at the age of 13, this is what you can do, but you've already showed me that you're not mature enough to handle it. You've showed me that you're not going to be independent enough, right? Then what do I look like setting you up for failure? What do I look like setting you up for failure? Y'all ready for the punchline? This is what we do with God. We tell him, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. God, I'm ready, I'm ready. I know I can do it. Like, you got to set a baseline rule for me. You got to say, all right, in 6 months, I'm going to get that thing that I prayed for. In 6 months, God, I'm going to get that elevation. And he said, well, what I look like setting you up for failure? Huh, son? If I know you're not ready, if I know that there's some more character development I got to do, if I know that there's some more stewardship I got to do, why would I set you up for failure like that? And when I say God, like, popped me in my lips, where as I was talking to my own children, I was talking to myself, and I almost wanted to have a hissy fit and say, well, that ain't fair. Well, that ain't fair. It's like this. You want him to do it when you want him to do it, but he said, you're not ready. Because if I let you get that piercing, we're going to take it back to the example I was giving. If I let you get that ear piercing, you're going to let it get infected. You're not going to take care of it. You're not going to do right. You're going to lose the earrings. Come on. You're not going to be responsible. And all I've done is set you up for a failure. All I've done is set you up to now come back to me, and that thing that you wanted so bad, now it's become a curse. Now you want me to remove it out your life. Now, what you was praying for, you said, I'm going to need you to go on and take it. Listen. Okay. Now, it's true. Listen, God was talking to me too this morning. Yesterday, I'll give y'all another one. I mean, God was giving me so many lessons this morning, this short period of time. I go to Costco yesterday. I ain't been to Costco in a month of Sundays, right? Not since Atlanta. And it was BJ's or Sam's Club. I went to Costco. And my friend said, why don't you go to Costco anyway? Because I was complaining. I was like, these kids eat up all these snacks. Every time I buy snacks, I promise you, I buy them on Monday. By Wednesday, they gone, right? And it ain't because I got a lot of kids. Y'all don't do that, right? Because 2 of them grown. And all 4 of them know better. Like, why are you gobbling up all the snacks? I said, well, because if I buy more, they just going to consume more, right? Sure enough, this morning I went to Costco yesterday and bought like 1,000 pack of like Oreo cookies, 1,000 pack, 1,000 pack of like orange cups, whatever, right? I got it in bulk. And this morning, Dana Russ comes outside, y'all, with a Ziploc bag, by this here big, a Ziploc bag full of like cookies and oranges, like all kind of snacks. And I said, whoa, 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 little lady, what you doing? She said, this. I said, who are you feeding? Are you feeding the 5,000? Who are you feeding? She go, no. This gonna last me for a week. I said, baby, that amount better last you for a month. I said, see, this is what I was telling my friend. I said, when God gives us more, we don't understand that we have to practice stewardship so we can have it for a long time and not just a good time. You see what I'm saying? We just overconsume, and when we overconsume and then we're left with nothing, we're left in a drought. Here we go again. How come we ain't got no snacks? Here we go again. God, can you give me another breakthrough? God, can you show up? And he said, listen, I didn't give it to you in bulk for you to be over-consuming. I'm trying to teach you stewardship, and so that you can have it for a long time, not just for a short time. Something has to click. Something has to click that yo, this isn't for me to take advantage of. This is what Classes in Session has been for us. It's been teaching us stewardship. It's been teaching us how to be better and listen, and to understand God's timing. He can teach me in the mornings with my children. Because I'd be like, Lord, throw these kids away. They be so hungry. But they're not hungry. They're greedy. They're greedy, and they're rushing my timing. Okay. And it's the truth. God is saying to us most of the time, yo, you ain't even satisfied with what you got. You ain't even a good steward of what you got. You're not even doing right with what you got. You're not even being faithful over what you got. Come on, listen. I'm not trying to humanize God, but I'm trying to help us understand. You know, we'll take advantage. God will give us what we ask for, and then we don't do right by it. We get these bottled waters. Y'all can go upstairs, and I got about 50 little bottles of water with this much water in it, and now I got to pour them out. And then I'll say, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to stop buying bottled water. Then here comes the complaint. Can you see yourself in that? Can you see where God has blessed you? And instead of being grateful, and instead of being thankful, right? And instead of being a good steward of it, you move into entitlement. Right. You move into entitlement. You move into greed. You move, honestly, into selfishness. You move into being inconsiderate. And that's what we do all the time. It ain't just sometimes. We do it often, very often. And God is like, I ain't bet. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. If you want to learn real quick, if you want the Lord to teach you real quick, come sit in my house with these kids. I'm going to go to Hebrews 11. I'm going to put my brother on. I'm going to go to... There's always a message when it comes with these children.
Listen.
Listen, they be so funny. Them kids say, Mama, you got to have a baseline rule. You got to do things the same way. I said, impossible. Impossible for me to do things the same way. Dana Russ wears glasses. What if I force glasses on you? Now I'm forcing you into something that you don't need.
That's the message.
Now I'm doing something to you that you didn't even deserve. You can't possibly. Okay. Hebrews 11 and 8. It was by faith that Abraham obeyed when God called him to leave home and go to another land. By faith. He didn't know where he was going. He didn't know if he was going to have the money for it. He didn't know if there was going to be people over there to show up for him. He didn't know if it was going to be a job over there. He didn't know if it was going to be food over there. He didn't know what it was going to look like. He didn't know nothing. It was by faith. He ain't had no baseline rule. He didn't even have there's a word called linyap. It means I think it's another language, it ain't English, but it means extra, right? He didn't have no bulk, right? He didn't have no stewardship training. He didn't have none of that. It was just by faith. He said, all right, God, I'm gonna do it. Right? He said, go to it and I'll give you the inheritance. He went without knowing where he was going. Even when he reached the land God promised him, he lived there by faith. Check this out. He lived there by faith. It said, for he was like a foreigner living in tents.
Well,
check this out. Because I got a question. What happens when you go where God has sent you to? What happens when you do what God has told you to do, but the accommodations aren't what you imagined them to be? What happens when you get to that place and you say, God, I know you sent me here. I know you called me here. I know you put me together in this relationship. I know you called me to this job. I know you called me to this new place. I know you called me to be a mother. I know you called me to be a friend to this person. I know you put me here. I heard you clear as day. You opened up the doors, right? But this ain't what I imagined. I didn't think I was going to be living in a tent. I thought I was going to be living in a mansion. I didn't think that this man was going to come with all these hang-ups, right? I thought he was going to come perfect. Let me pause right there. That perfect woman, that perfect mind, that perfect person you're talking about, they don't exist in real life. They only exist in your mind. They only exist in your mind. I heard Dr. Miles Monroe say this. He said, they don't exist in the world. They only exist in your mind. God will give you raw material. And when he gives you raw material, what you have to do is you have to go in and nurture that thing. You have to go and speak to that thing. You have to go in and create in that thing. But a lot of times we go and we abandon it because it don't look like what we imagine. When God sent you over to that promised land, he sent you to that place and you was living in that tent. You thought it was going to come up and be set up. You thought that it was going to be nice. I asked God yesterday, why you send me all the way over here and make it that easy in the beginning and now it's hard? Now I'm facing stuff and it's tough. Now I feel like I'm living in this tent. He said, I gave you raw material, Dannella. I'm giving you raw material because here's the thing. I will not leave you in a place when I know there's so much more inside of you. It's called a developmental setup, y'all. He said you got so many gifts and talents and you think you just got that one. You think just that one thing is supposed to carry you through. But you got so much more. I'm trying to reveal who you are to you. Half of y'all don't even know who you are to yourself. You're not just a good cook. You're not just a mama. You're not just an employee. You got those God ideas down on the inside. but you have a tent. And he said, you want that mansion? You do? He said, go build it.
Yeah.
What you got, brother? What were you about to say?
First of all, because you real loud this morning, I appreciate your tone of voice. And, and secondly, you look like Dayla Big Sister.
Okay, y'all. I knew you was gonna say it.
I promise you. But you know, you said something I think that we may have not really caught adhered to. You talked about God giving you the raw material, right? Now, when God called let me say how the preacher said. You know, I ain't even say one. You know how they call God when God called Israel into the promised land, right? What do you do when the promise doesn't look so promising? What do you do when the land that he's called you to is occupied by other people, but he told you that the land was yours, but he also failed to mention that other people would inhabit the same places where he gave you? What do you do when these people actually in number are greater than you, but yet he told you and your people and your group and your family that this is the place that I have for you? What do you do? Well, I'm glad you asked.
What do the lonely do at Christmas? Oh, what do they do? What do they do? Go.
What do you do when the promise doesn't look so promising? What you do is you still stand. Most people flee from the promise because the promise doesn't come. The promise doesn't come with a big red bow, and the promise doesn't come wrapped in a nice gift, and the promise doesn't look like the thing of what you thought it was going to look like because you had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like, rather than knowing that if God said it, then it's already mine. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I was going to a church years ago, Sissy, and I remember they did a fundraiser to raise money for a building that they thought was going to be their building. And the money was not raised because the building that they thought was going to be their building ended up not being the building. In fact, the building that God had for them was already occupied by another church. Sometimes God will disappoint your expectations to exceed. God will disappoint your expectations. My big brother T was going on, sir. God will disappoint your expectations because God does not live in your expectations. He only lives in his. Because his expectations are the breeding ground for miracles. When you expect God to show up in the way that he will see, this is why King Solomon said this. He said, listen, God, give me godly wisdom. He didn't ask for what? He asked for godly wisdom. So the promises that he has given a person are connected to what we ask him in a matter of how we ask him. Lord, don't just give me money. Give me godly wisdom to manage the money that you've given me to help other people. You see the difference? Not just, Lord, bless me financially or give me abundance for what? Because your expectation is he's going to do it and you be the only beneficiary of what he's giving you to do. No. I hate to be the bearer of good news.
God said,
But what he did was, Joshua said, listen, there are people that are inhabiting the promise that God promises. However, number 13 or 14, we can occupy this place. See, many people, since he lived from the other spies' report versus the truth of God. The land is there, flowing with milk and honey, just like he said, it's there. Everything he said is there. But many of you right now, cousins, are in the but phase.
oh, the wrong song just came up.
I see the look of disappointment in your face.
Yeah, because I couldn't sing it.
You wanted to go there, but this ain't the place for it. Call me and sing it to me.
Okay.
But listen to this, right? the people who were decided were outnumbered. Because whenever a promise doesn't look promising, fear creeps in.
Yeah.
And fear crept in and plagued the rest of the camp. Why? Because just because you may have a vision or God is giving you a promise, you have to be very careful of who you allow to also hear that promise. Because when God has said something, it won't never look like what he said. When he told Abraham, go to this place. First of all, you want me to go somewhere I ain't never been before.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
You want me to go somewhere I've never been before. As a matter of fact, you're disconnecting me from my family. Why? Because God's promises, I'm about to mess somebody up, sissy. God's promises and the culture of people cannot intermingle. Because most people don't know this. Abraham's family was actually dabbling in witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So God will disconnect you from what makes you comfortable into what is about to fulfill you. But it took me to this scripture, sis. James 1, starting at verse 2. It says this, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations or trials. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, not wanting anything. If your faith is being tested, it's because your faith is about to produce a perfect work that you will not lack anything. Watch this. In the presence of patience, you not only allow patience to have its perfect work, but you allow God to perfect you even while you're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
See, you're not waiting. I'm made out. You're waiting, but you're not waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you wait on, it's not that you're actually waiting on God how you think, sis. What you're doing is you're coming into the knowledge and to the being and to the completeness of what you're supposed to. The reason why there's ever lack in any area is because there's a lack of information or a lack of knowing or knowledge. So you're in a waiting period, which means you talked about it, you're being developed, because God will not give you a promise that you will mismanage.
Listen.
God is not going to give you a promise that you're going to mismanage, because the promise isn't just beneficial to you, but the promise is beneficial to the people that God has given you. So if he's causing you to have a promise, he's developing you so you can be a good steward of the thing of what he's giving you. Mm-hmm. Because what he's giving you has souls connected to it. I need you to say something in the comment section, cousins. It's not about me. It's a good one. It's not. In essence, it's not. Because look at Abraham being told to go somewhere, but he also became the father of many nations. Imagine, sissy, if Abraham never went, he would have never became the father, not just spiritually, but also physically. See, when God has a promise connected to you, there are lives and souls connected to what he's giving you.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be those that he's called in ministry or those that are physically will come from you? It's not about you. But he wants to use you in your development so you can fulfill and sustain the promises that he has for you. And the thing about this is, I've realized, promises don't just stop at a generation. They continue on. What people are into the book of Dannella, the story of Dannella, the story of Shira, the story of Eden, the story of whoever is watching. There are people that are tied to you being able to be developed and steward something well that God has given you. Whatever you mismanage, you miss out on. God cares more about your management. I'm saying something. Cares more about your management than your ability. Go ahead, sis. I'm passing back to you.
No, that's good. It's good. It's so funny because yesterday I found myself just like, yo, God, like, this the promise? Right? Is this the promise? Because what else do I need to do? Right? What else do I need to do to make this thing continue to move forward, right? Because it feels like in my feelings, in my emotional place, right? It feels like, God, this ain't it, right? This ain't the lick I thought I hit, okay? This ain't it, right? This ain't it, right? And I'm out here living in this tent, and I'm just like, I'm really baffled. But what I love about Abraham, it said that he confidently looked forward to the city with eternal foundations and a city designed and built by God. He was confident in it. You see, when he moved out of faith, he didn't know what was going to be there, right? He didn't know. He was just going through that thing. When he got there, he was like, all right, I'll be content because I'm confident in my God. And even when my faith wavers a little bit, even when I get to this place and things seem like, wait a minute, this okie doke, or it's been flipped over. You know what I mean? Like this ain't exactly what I imagined. I still have confidence that that thing is going to come to pass. I still have confidence that it's not going to be a tent. It says Sarah was old, but she still had confidence. Confidence. She was still confident in the fact that she was going to be the mother of many nations because her husband was going to be the father of many nations. There has to be a certain type of confidence that you have to have in your heavenly Father. You got to know that that thing's still going to happen.
Come on.
Don't fall. Listen. Don't fall for listen, the enemy gonna enemy. Meaning, he's gonna have to throw you a decoy. He's gonna have to make it seem like it ain't gonna come. He's gonna have to try to confuse you. He's gonna have to get you to a place where you're questioning it because he wants you to lose your faith. He wants you to give up. You know how many people have given up right when they made it? Right when they were right there?
Yep.
How many people didn't even get into the promised land? How many people missed the mark because they just gave up? What you got? What you about to say? Because your ain't right.
No, because you triggered me in a good way. A faith that's not tested is a faith that can't be trusted.
A faith that's not tested is a faith that can't be trusted.
You have to, because the thing of it is this, right? You say, Lord, I trust you. I believe that your word and your promises are yes and amen, and your promises are sure, right? Bet. Let's see if you're going to stand on business. If you really going to stand on what you profess or what you say. Because deception will move you from the place of your assignment because of challenges. But understand this. If there's never any crisis, there's never any credibility.
How do you know? How do I know that you're going to be faithful, Drake, if I've never put you through a challenge? How do I know you real if I've never... Daddy said, Mama, when you go in the mall, these boys, they come up and they put this little thing on your thing. And she said, I know my necklace real. I said, how? She said, because it made them beeps, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like this little test thing that they put on your jewelry to see if the diamonds are real. She said, let them test yours. I said, oh, baby, they can test mine all day. I know it's real. I know big bank take little bank, right? I know it's real. That's what God is doing with us. Oh, you say that you'll go through the fire for me. You say that you with me. You say you down like 4 flat tires. You say that you ain't gonna do nothing strange for a little piece of change. It don't matter what comes your way. You say, right, that I'm your father and you trust me. All right, let's see. Let me throw a little curveball. Oh, that little curveball didn't disturb you? Let me throw a bigger curveball. And it's not a game. Y'all get this. It's not a game. God ain't just playing with your life like that, right? He ain't playing with your life. Because here's the thing about it. You know he knows what's on the other side. You know he knows. I think about my kids and how they be like, Mama, like, why? And I'm like, you know I know what's going to happen. gonna die. You not. They crying, mama, I hurt my arm and I'm just, you don't even care. You're not even doing nothing about it. You're not gonna die. I know what's on the other side of this. You know how many of you I have? You know how much of this I've seen? You think that I didn't foreknow what you was gonna need in your life? You think that I didn't know that you was gonna have that attachment? I ain't gonna say issue, but thing, right? Where you needed a life partner. You think I didn't know that? You think that I didn't know and I put in my word that two are better than one? You think I ain't know that? You think that this little temporary separation, you think that this little time of you being by yourself is loneliness, and that ain't what it is. I'm just trying to get you fine-tuned with me. Alright, whatever. Y'all be playing with your own lives. God don't play with your life like that. Y'all be playing with your own lives.
And do?
I tell Dannella all the time, I really love the life that you've designed for yourself. God makes it possible, but you use your mouth and you design. And baby, Dannella has a beautiful life. She lives in the land of plenty and she lacks no good thing. Whatever she desires, she will get. She lives in a very peaceful place. She don't let nothing disrupt her spirit. And I said, I love the life that you've designed. She said, yeah, it's what I've asked for. And I don't move. I don't move on it. I know that God wants it for me because it's a desire. So I don't get myself disrupted. I don't have to defend myself. Ooh, can I say this real quick? Can I do this real quick? We're going to deviate just a little bit. The way that you have learned to defend yourself is a direct representation of how you learned to defend yourself when you were little. When you defended yourself for the first time, perhaps you were maybe 5, 6, however old, you tried to defend yourself and it was met with correction. It was met with rejection. Somebody said something to you, maybe it was a parent, right? And you tried to defend yourself and they said, don't you talk to me like that. That's disrespectful, right? Maybe you got a spanking or a whooping or whatever, and you tried to defend yourself, right? And it was met with, don't you dare raise your hand back at me. Don't you dare. You sit and take it. Right? So when you got older and you learned to defend yourself, or you were trying to defend yourself, what happened was you were met with the same type of rebuttal, right? And so guess what you did? You stopped defending yourself because you now learned, well, it's not going to help. It's not going to do anything. So many of you that feel like you're defenseless is because in your childhood, you were met with rejection on how to defend yourself. But I'm going to tell you something that's going to do away with all that. I'm going to tell you something. 2 things. One's for certain. One thing I know. 2 for certain, right? One thing for sure, 2 for certain. First one is, you don't have to defend yourself, baby. I promise you don't. Because when God says he don't play about you, when God says I will defend you, I will vindicate you, the truth of the matter is, baby, the way he gonna whoop that person or the way he gonna whoop that situation, can't nobody match it. The second thing is, you can stand up for yourself. You can. Maybe when you were younger, it was met with a domestication that told you that wasn't the way you were supposed to do it. Maybe it was met with a rejection that said, yo, you don't handle that. That was just a domestication.
Jesus.
Let God fight your fight. But don't let nobody talk to you crazy. Okay? We got to wrap this up, brother. I done went into psychology. I done went into therapy.
It's necessary.
It's necessary. Because what I find is a lot of times, and even in self-discovery, right? I grew up in a household, and many of y'all know this, my dad talk about it all the time, my dad had PTSD. And so it was a very violent household a lot of times. And when I would defend myself or defend my sisters or defend, period, it was met with, you don't disrespect me, right? Or it was met with more of that violence. And so what I began to learn was, it's not even worth me defending myself because this is how it's going to be met. So when I got into other situations, whether it was in a relationship, whether it was at work, sometimes I even meet old 10-year-old me. I'm being honest with y'all now. I meet 10-year-old me even when it comes to disciplining my children, right? I said, well, I can't defend myself because it's not going to work. And so now I'm having to go back and peel back layers, baby. I tell y'all this all the time. Y'all got to go back and unlearn some of those things. Y'all got to go back and heal and help yourself and not get over it, but get on with it and learn that you can defend yourself.
Yes.
Somebody else's projection on you. Somebody else's projection and somebody else is telling you what you can and can't do is not serving you. You can let go of those parts of you and defend yourself. Defend the truth. Defend what God has told you.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it. It's all right. You don't have to meet it with violence. You don't have to match energy.
Mm-hmm. Hello. They don't.
We don't do that. We don't have to do that because remember, God is going to vindicate me. He's going to stand up for me. He's going to do it for me. But I'm not powerless is what I want you to. Because what happens is when you feel like you have no defense, you become very small and powerless and you take your power, you take your voice away. You have a voice.
Yeah. That's good.
And you have a very necessary voice. All right, I love y'all. Brother, you got any final words?
Listen, do not despise small beginnings. Don't. They're necessary for the development of who you are and what you will become. So thank God for where you are and what you are going through because your current condition is not your concrete conclusion. And we bless His holy name.
And we bless His holy name. Let me hear you say bless, bless. Bless. I see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Big God. Big motion. Big, where the merch at?
I'm going to drop it today. Just because. Wow. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Shut alive. Bye.